Florence, Comite, here at the 21st meeting of the Clinical Applications of Age Management Medicine Conference, interviewing Dr. Mansoor Mohammed and his topic. Thank you for joining us here. We're delighted to be in Las Vegas.
Thank you.
Your topic, which we all enjoyed, is lifestyle, genomics, and medicine.
Yes.
With a health focus, a focus on a health-focused approach in medicine.
Absolutely.
A particular interest of mine, so I'm delighted to have you here and delighted to hear your thoughts.
It's a pleasure.
Would you like to give us a bit of background about what you do and how you look at medicine?
I mean, I'm a clinical genomicist. My primary practice, I first trained and did my clinical internship in cancer diagnostics. And then I went on to developmental diagnostics, with the key here being diagnostics, so the use of genetics in a very diagnostic, disease-centric manner. And for many years, that's exactly what we did. And we did some fabulous things, and there's absolutely, obviously, a need of genetics in the diagnostic setting. But what really hit me was we'd been using genetics in these two polarized manners. One was this very disease-centric manner, and the other was this sort of superficial, why are my eyes the color of dad's and my chin is more like mom's? And everything in the middle, how the human body functions, how we actually work at a cellular level, at an individual level, that seemed to have been leapfrogged over. So we either did disease or very superficial. And we weren't talking about the individuality of form and function. And I think for the last 7, 8 years, that had really become something that I saw was missing. It became a passion. I started working with clinics to bring this knowledge forth so that we can understand individuals at that unique level. And I guess the last point that I would make is, it was a colleague of mine that put it this way. He says, you know, we all have legacies that we inherit, whether it be names, titles, wealth, as the case might be. But the greatest legacy that we inherit is our genomic legacy. This amazing legacy that has been filtered from generation to generation to generation and is now housed within us as individuals, this amazing genetic genomic legacy, yet we don't spend any time understanding what this legacy is so that we could live ultimately, optimally with this legacy, and that's what we focus on now.
Oh, that's beautifully said, and I think I have a deeper understanding now of what lifestyle genomics is.
Indeed.
And how it might relate to the individual. Because our own focus on looking at individuals as unique means bringing this legacy to life.
Yes, indeed.
And then interpreting what it means and how it's expressed as an N of one.
Absolutely.
How do you use your legacy? Because even I, as an identical twin, use my legacy, which is identical to my twin sisters, uniquely.
Absolutely.
We're completely different in some ways, and in some ways we are identical.
Absolutely.
So how do you envision bringing this to life at the level of the human being, or in the centers or in the clinics?
You know, I use a little diagram to bring this forth, and it's always a wonderful moment when either or both the clinician, who usually refers patients to me, and the patient, there's that light bulb moment that goes off. And what I explain is you should envision yourself as that circle, a circle that is you with your unique genetic legacy. And around that circle, I draw a perfect equilateral triangle, the points of which I label environment, lifestyle, nutrition. The optimal status for an individual is when that circle is perfectly positioned within that triangle. But for most of us, because we don't understand what our genomic legacy is, that triangle is off kilter. Myself, I grew up in the Caribbean as an island boy. However, I live in Toronto. My environment, by its nature, sun exposure, foods that I eat, and so forth, are different than what I grew up with and what my forefathers grew up with. My lifestyle is far different from my forefathers. My nutrition. So to answer the question, how do I envision this and what do we do? It really starts with education. And I don't mean to make that song so blasé or oft-repeated, but it's education. It's an education of letting individuals know that this term that you use, I love it, N of 1. Because so much of medicine is N of 10,000 or N of what, and we just become a generic individual within a biomass of individuals that are being studied. But as I asked, you know, are my vitamin D needs as a person of Asian via the Caribbean of many generations, are my vitamin D needs and the way my body processes up metabolizes, activates vitamin D, is it the same as a Northern European? And now that I live in Toronto, what should I do? Should I obey the usual vitamin D recommendations for Northern Europeans? Should I take it in the same way? Should I take it at the same times? These are just basic, and it starts at those basic levels, and of course goes deeper depending on the health needs and health focus of the individual.
Beautifully stated, actually, and couldn't agree more. We practice in a world of one size fits all, and one size does not fit anybody well.
It most certainly does not. And we're in a world where information is readily available, right? So I find my average patient is just inundated with, oh, I heard about this new diet, I heard about this new study, does this apply to me, does this? And I give the somewhat lighthearted but relevant example. So here's a young Mauritanian man. He is from the sub-Saharan region, wonderful, noble lineage, and he makes his way to university in America. And in his first nutrition class, he studies the wonders of the Okinawan diet, Okinawan Japanese diet, and how amazing that diet is for longevity, health, and vitality. He himself comes from a lineage and tribe where individuals live long, beautiful lives. Here he is in America, studying about the Okinawan Japanese diet, wonderful, noble, absolutely healthy as well. But if he, this young Mauritanian man living in America, were to try to adopt to the best of his ability that Okinawan Japanese diet, is he A, going to be as healthy as his forefathers, B, as healthy as the Okinawan Japanese forefathers, or C, neither of the above? And I think most of us will understand it's really C, because he's not living in harmony with his genomic legacy, and that's the nature of what we're trying to do.
Yes, exactly. Given all of that and what we're trying to accomplish, how do you envision driving this into the practice of medicine today?
You know, one of the things that we do in our clinics, and I work in several wellness executive clinics in Toronto, Canada, and across Canada, worldwide actually. But what we've done is we've started implementing intelligent, functional genomic testing. And they're all, each of these adjectives, it's important. Intelligent meaning we are in a time and a place where we can do DNA-based testing fairly easily now. And I'm no longer worried per se about the accuracy of DNA testing. It's a fairly automated, roboticized approach, but I still worry about the intelligence, what is behind it, that the tests, the results need to be functional, they need to be actionable. And so we really try to design actionable, insightful genomic testing that allows both the clinician and the individual to start to appreciate that, wait a minute, thoughts that I might have had, my colleague at work who said that he did so-and-so, she ate so-and-so, he was on this diet, or she exercised so-and-so and had a particular outcome, that those things in its specifics may not apply to me, and I need to start understanding myself at a truly individual pathway level. And it's remarkable how the average person really quickly tunes to this. And again, we get that light bulb moment when they start to understand, I just knew that that's what was, that's why my body didn't behave like his body or her body, as the case might be. And so the first part to the answer is we've implemented intelligent, functional genetic assays. Usually put that as a forefront in their health journey. I call it my GPS, my genetic personalized services, that I need to get to the airport. And if I call the taxi cab and I says, this is Dr. Mansoor, I need to get to the Las Vegas airport, and the company says, okay, we'll come and get you, Dr. Mansoor, just tell us where to pick you up from. And if I then said, well, what sort of two-bit taxi cab company are you? Can't you just take me to the airport? And the operator says, well, we'll take you to the airport, just tell us where to get you from. And if I then say, well, geez, just get me, why don't you? I want to go to the airport. You can see the fallacy of that conversation. And so I inform individuals that this genetic knowledge is to start their journey so that we understand where are they starting from as an individual. And then from there we incorporate lifestyle optimizations, nutrition optimizations, and when appropriate, environmental optimizations as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much. This was truly a pleasure.
It was.
And thank you for joining us here at the 21st Applications of Age Management Medicine Conference.
Thank you.
We'll look forward to having you.